When did you know she's the one? Here's an original copy of /u/fact-check authorities post, if available. Fellas, I think I did it really. Things are new but so refreshing. Everything is effortless, from communication, consistency, compassion from her. I could go on and on. We've only been together about a month, but I knew from the third time we saw each other that this was special. We've cleared a lot of ground when it comes to goals, intentions, etc, and the relationship is serious. She's 29. I'm 31. I know patience is the name of the game, but I truly believe she's the one. So I ask fellas, am I crazy, or did y'all know she was the one early on? I've had a handful of relationships and never had someone treat me so gently and thoughtfully in my entire life, and it's not grand gestures of affection or love bombing. Just incredible emotional intelligence and genuine fun. I think I can make it a year and a half before I'm looking for an engagement ring. I'm a bot, and this action was performed automatically. Please contact the moderators of this subreddit /message/compose/to=r/askmen if you have any questions or concerns. I was 24. She was 30. I asked after 5 months. 17 years later. I couldn't be happier. Congrats, man. My situation is the same, except we were 24 and 25. Engaged at 6 weeks. Married 6 months later. Going on 23 years now. Sometimes you just know. We had been out on group dates a couple of times. Latin dance at a bar. Dinner with some of her colleagues and students. She was a college professor. The night of our first real one-on-one date, I had trouble focusing on work all day. I showed up at her house with a yellow rose tinged with red. She told me later she understood that message. 3 months later I was more in love with her than I had ever been with anyone in my life. 2 years after we met, almost to the day, and 6 months after marrying, she showed me the positive pregnancy test. Married 22 years now. Our kid just turned 21. The first night she stayed over, we didn't have sex. She laid in bed next to me. We had been dating a week at that point. This October will be our 10th anniversary. We've been together for 14 years this past July 1st. She's an incredible woman who's intelligent, hilarious, never tell her I said that, wholesome, weird, determined, able to change her mind, and phenomenal wife and mother, and gorgeous. Gents, I lucked out. Felt the same way early in my relationship opus. When you get past the honeymoon phase and the ugly side comes out, and you can both go through that phase and love each other, then it would be a great indicator of her being the one for you. We woke up around noon on a Saturday at her place and she said, "Let's order pizza and stay in bed all day." I was hooked at that point. How long you've been together now? Oops, I should have added that. We still occasionally have pizza in bed 25 plus years later. Let's see. We met online in August 2011. Met in person October 2011. I moved to her town to my own place March 2012. Engaged in June 2012. Married in December 2012. Almost 13 years later. 1 kid, the dog, house, and very happy. It is possible to know quickly and just go. If you're both on the same page, get a good premarital counselor, then get to it. Haven't found my person yet. Just wanted to say that I hope she's yours. Congrats. I hope you find one too. Thank you, friend. Just gotta wait for her to come along. I know she's out there somewhere. /U0001F972. I might not be the best to answer this as I'm divorced, and the woman I thought was the one left after 3 years. However, if you look at every aspect of her, habits, quirks, personally, hobbies, attitude, how she treats other people, and you have absolutely no doubts whatsoever that you want this woman in every day of the rest of your life, and she feels the same, you can make it work. Also, I know a couple that are absolutely perfect for each other and have been together over 20 years, and they were engaged after 3 weeks. My late husband and I had 42 years together. I moved in with him after knowing him a total of about 12 hours over 2 days. He said we would get married at about the 7-hour mark. That is sweet. I'm glad you had such a long time together. So I ask fellas, am I crazy, or did y'all know she was the one early on? I knew almost immediately, within the first month. For sure. Been together 14 years. Got married under the Tetons. We have a 4-year son and she's an incredible mom. And I can't tell you how hot that is. And she's really into oral. So yay. But in all seriousness, I knew early on. When you know you know. It's hard to explain, because I thought I knew. But when I met her I realized I really didn't. But for a specific example, I'm into nerdy shit. I love sci-fi. And she lets me talk about it to her, whether she listens or not. So one day we see something on people going to Mars, and she asks how long it would take to get there. I say I really don't know. It depends on a lot of things. But we'll say 8 months. And she asks, but how long would it take for the people in the ship? And I say 8 months boo. Then it hits me. She listened to me ramble about time. She was asking about time dilation and space travel, because I had gone on some dumbass diatribe about space travel, and how it doesn't affect the traveler and observer the same. And she picked that up, and remembered the context. F10/10ths boys. If a woman talk about time dilation, you're doing okay. TL. Doctor, she saved me from getting a ticket. Basically, we'd just start dating. We were driving down the road in separate cars. I was driving with an expired sticker on my windshield, and as we passed a cop sitting in the road, sure enough, he turned out to get me. My girlfriend saw that and instantly started tailgating me. When we got to a red light, I turned right and she stayed behind to block the cop from coming after me. From there, I turned off the road I'd just turned onto, turned into a strip center parking lot and doubled back the way I came. Sure enough, my girlfriend's light turned green, and she drove straight through the intersection, while the cop veered right, zooming off in the direction it looked like I went in. So, I turned back onto the main road and she followed me back to my house. We are divorced now. Did not see that incoming. Maybe I'm the dissenting voice, but I don't think the one is a thing. Yes, there are people that you get along with easier than others. But when it comes to the one, I think the core component is choice. I knew I found the one when she stuck with me in terrible times. E.g., no money, back in school for 4 years, and had to put life on hold. And I did the same for her. E.g., figuring out what to do in life. How to make ends meet working job with low pay. Basically, even when things were in the dumpster, we both chose to be in the dumpster together. There are lots of times when things are better and easier, but relationships are tested when S hits the fan. Are both people choosing to stay? That's what I think the one is. You both choose each other, no matter how sunny or stormy life is. The one is about commitment, not feelings or ease of the relationship or anything else. It boils down to choice, and you both agree to be each other's ride or die. I appreciate this perspective. I was with someone during my rock bottom times who was a contributor to the misery. I think if it had been the other way, maybe compatibility would have been a thing. It wasn't. I never would want it to be a thing. I feel grateful that I learned from that experience and can navigate my emotions with my partner though. Thank you for sharing. Okay, so this might be a rant. Apologies in advance. I grew up needing a lot of surgeries due to being born with spina bifida and some other brain stuff. That to say, I've had all up about 130 surgeries. When we first started dating, maybe 7 months in, I was dealing with some super bad headaches. We went into the hospital, and what would you know? They didn't take it seriously enough. We had been waiting in that room for about 3 hours at that point, so everyone was very stressed. Until she snapped. The woman, my now wife, who suffers from severe social anxiety, snapped and yelled that they need to take me seriously and at least do a court scan. 5 minutes later I was in the courtroom, and she had calmed down. Turns out I had a severe brain infection and bleed, and if they didn't do anything they wouldn't have found it, and I would have been dead. That was the moment I knew, and I think of it every single day. 4th date for me for a really cheesy reason. On our 3rd date she came round to mine, and we spent the weekend playing board games, having fun and chatting about life. She said it was great, but my mugs were too small, and having to keep getting up to make a brew was annoying. So for our 4th date I thought I'd be cheesy and get her a big mug as a joke for next time she came round. I turned up and she sheepishly said, "I've got you a little something please. Don't think I'm weird," and pulled out a big mug. I don't know why. It was something stupid, but that's when I knew. We are engaged now and getting married in a few months. Was at a park with her sister's boys, both less than 10 years old. We were really having a dry run at parenting. Her sister was happy to let us look after them for a few weeks. We had been living together for a year. One of the boys got some sand in his eye. He came over to me. I have it a rub and tried to clean it, but he was still uncomfortable. My GF got a hanky, wet it at a tap, cleaned out his eye, and he ran off to play again. I'd been thinking about marrying her, but that very moment I knew. No more hesitation. We got home with the boys, who were staying with us for a few weeks, and that night I asked her to marry me. She's the first person I've been with who's practiced "it's not you vs me, it's sus vs the problem." I'm not the easiest person to be with, and I struggle with communication a lot. But she's always been patient with me and always knows how you tackle a disagreement we are having. Besides that, she's always been by my side, no matter what's been going on, and has only ever been supportive of me. You will never know if she's the one. But then again, there's no such thing as the one. But it doesn't mean you shouldn't spend the rest of your life with her. If you want to wife her up, just be sure she doesn't hate everyone around your life, such as your family and your friends, and vice versa. She's been amazing. Met my best friend, meeting close family of mine shortly. I cannot imagine a world where it goes south. She's just so gracious. Life, it's uncanny. When did you know she's the one? Mine is quite nerdy. We were talking about my job. After a bit of discussion I handed her one end of a LCOM4. I shone my flashlight into my end. She looked at the connector in her hand and asked, "How do you make a light blink billions of times a second?" Unlike most people in this thread, it wasn't immediate for me, and I wasn't even certain. It took me going to therapy and making my relationship a core thing we talked about to reach the point where I proposed. You don't live and be happy when you feel stable in life, I guess. First time she smiled in a mischievous way at me. She had plans for us. We both knew things looked very promising from the first connection. It's been over 10 years, so I don't remember the exact timing, but I do remember thinking, if things stay on this track, I'll propose next year rather early. We were both in our late 20s, and both felt it was important to get over the hump of the honeymoon phase before committing, so a lot of our dating period was just exploring each other through various seasons of life. We dated a little less than 2 years, and were engaged for a little less than a year, now married for 8. Sounds cliche, but it was the first second I saw her. Together a month and you think she's the one. Hate to say it, but that's the honeymoon period, endorphins talking. There's many aspects to making a relationship work, and a big part of that is compatibility about things you two haven't even thought of yet. Cohabitation routines and expectations. Toilet seat constantly left up. Hair all over your shower. Hair ties and clips littering your dresser and sinks. etc. Leaving dishes in the sink for too long. Who pays what bills? Cooking and cleaning. Chores. Morning routines. Nighttime routines. Political views of the world. Do you two want to be parents one day? How do you each do in the company of each other's families? There's a laundry list of things that help build a successful relationship when the endorphins wear out. I'm super happy for you with a successful first stage, but there's a ton more to go before you can be sure you're ready to tie the knot with anyone. I'm glad someone brought this up. She cleans her hair out of the shower. We are both very clean, him a no dishes in the sink kind of guy. We are both financially responsible and earn well. We are great about making sure no one overpays or overextends themselves financially for date nights. I recognize patience and time will tell how these things work over the next handful of months, but when I say I haven't seen a single red flag, can't believe she's real sometimes. This is wonderful to hear, and I'm glad that you've found someone you've connected with so deeply and so quickly. However, you're still very much experiencing new relationship energy / the honeymoon phase. which can be fun but intoxicating. Enjoy your time with her, and remember to not lose sight of yourself in your devotion. There's no need to rush to marriage, and you seem aware of that. Just allow yourselves to enjoy being young and together. For what it's worth, however, I also met my partner and knew from the very first date that I wanted to share a life with her, whatever shape that would take. Wanting to make her happy, and especially make her smile and laugh. Combine that with enjoying time with her more than I enjoy spending time alone, and her not making me feel introversion drained. How I knew. Being around and with her just felt natural to me. Sadly, she wasn't interested. When I pulled her out of the matrix, watched her suck a golf ball through 20 feet of garden hose,